What's going on, guys? I am the Dank with a very special commentary today. My review of The Dark Knight Rises. Now, this will contain spoilers. If you have not seen the movie, I highly suggest you stop the video now. Thank you for stopping by. I appreciate your view. However, I do not want to spoil it for anybody because I would punch someone in the throat if they spoiled it for me. So, this will contain spoilers. Pretty major spoilers too. So close it out if you haven't seen it, or if you, watch it if you don't care. If you don't plan on seeing it, which I don't know why anyone would not plan on seeing it, but if you just don't care, then feel free to listen. But let me jump right into it. You guys know, most of you know, that I'm a huge Batman fan. I've mentioned that before. I mentioned it on Twitter like every day, but huge Batman fan. So we got the tickets to the trilogy: Batman Begins, The Dark Knight, and The Dark Knight Rises. I'm tell you one thing, watching 3 movies back to back in a dark theater for 9 hours straight, that shit is exhausting. I was so tired when we left, but that's besides the point. If you're going to see The Dark Knight Rises, I highly recommend watching Batman Begins and The Dark Knight beforehand, because there's so much, especially Batman Begins, there's so much Batman Begins that comes full circle in The Dark Knight Rises. There's not a whole lot of The Dark Knight in The Dark Knight Rises. Really the main thing that's carried over is Harvey Dent's death. The effects of his death weigh heavily on The Dark Knight Rises, but there's no Joker references, there's no major connections between The Dark Knight and The Dark Knight Rises, aside from, like I said, Harvey's death and Rachel's death. So let me give you just a general overall review first before I get more specific. In my opinion, this is all my opinion. You might not agree with me. That's cool. That's fine. If you want to discuss it, leave it in comments. Talk to me on Twitter. I love talking about Batman, so feel free to hit me up about it. But in my opinion, after sleeping on it and letting it sink in for a little bit, I've come to the conclusion that The Dark Knight Rises was almost, if not as good as The Dark Knight. And I'll tell you why. It does seem almost sacrilegious to say that any Batman movie is as good as The Dark Knight, but the magic of The Dark Knight was really mostly based around the performance of the Joker. Obviously the rise and fall of Harvey Dent was the primary focus, but in the end, the story was as compelling as it was because of the Joker. To me, anyway, that was the Joker's movie. But as far as stories, overall story from start to finish, Dark Knight Rises told a better one, I think. It was the most layered movie we've ever seen in a Batman film. What I mean by layered, there's so many intricate storylines happening at once. And it might even get to the point where it confuses people. And I have heard people say that. People have said, oh, there's too much going on and this and that. But it's not that it's so much going on, because it all connects. It all connects fantastically at the end. You have the aftermath of Harvey's death and how it affects Jim Gordon and the people of Gotham. Bruce Wayne becoming a recluse and still feeling the pain of Rachel's death. You got Selina Kyle's story with her, walking the line between good and evil. The appearance of the first real badass monster we've seen in a Batman film. Someone that can actually go toe-to-toe with Batman physically in Bane. Another major spoiler alert, Talia al Ghul infiltrating the Wayne Enterprises. Batman being truly defeated and left broken for the first time ever. What else? Gotham just reaching the brink of destruction. The rise of the John Blake character, someone who has suffered just as much as Bruce has and shares his anger. And Batman finally becoming the symbol of hope and the hero that he deserved to be at the end. And also Ra's al Ghul's implications with him finally being able to fulfill his destiny. I'm sure I'm missing key points because I need to see it again, and I'm going to go see it 6 more times anyway. So it's just so layered and so intricate, the overall story, and it absolutely blew me away. The only negative things I can say, honestly, is it started off a little, not confusing, but because of the fact that 8 years has passed in between, they kind of tried to tell you a whole lot of stuff right off the bat, and it kind of came off a little jumbled at the beginning. You got the gist of it, but just maybe the first 10 minutes of the movie, it's just a lot coming at you. and I think it might have been able to have been spread out a little better. But aside from that, I mean, I really have nothing else to complain about. And I always look at movies from a non-biased point of view. Like, I'm not going to say it's an incredible movie just because it's a Batman movie, even though I'm a huge fan of Batman. I'm a huge fan of Batman. I'll tell you right now, Batman and Robin sucks. I'll tell you that, right? Like, I have no problem telling you that a Batman movie sucks. But this movie did absolutely not suck. It didn't suck in any way, shape, or form. And the last 5 minutes of the movie, 5-10 minutes of the movie, are the most compelling 5 minutes to end a movie that I've seen in a very, very, very long time. You know, they say, you know, the end of a movie, the finale, can really make or break the film. Take, for example, Saw, the Saw movies. If you've never seen Saw, major spoiler alert coming, you know, at the end of Saw, when you realize that the guy was alive the whole time, that ending shocked the crap out of you. And that really is what made the movie good. The movie was good, but think if it didn't have that oh shit ending. You really think it would have spawned 7, 8 sequels after that? I don't think so. So the ending can really make or break the experience of the movie. And let's just talk about the last 5 minutes. I think that for this particular Batman universe, the ending was damn near perfect. The theme that had been coming up so much in The Dark Knight was, you know, the Batman is looking for someone to take his place. The goal was always for him to inspire others to step up and do good for Gotham. Because in reality, that's something you can't do forever. And, I mean, me personally, Bruce Wayne will always be Batman. He'll always overcome. He'll never be just Bruce Wayne, you know. But for this particular story, I like the way it played out. But in general, in the comics, and yes, I am a comic Batman fan. I'm not just a movie, you know, film Batman fan. I like my Batman to always overcome. I like my Batman to be everlasting. And that's the thing about it is he's different things to different people. You know, some people might accept the fact that Batman might not always be Bruce Wayne. But for me personally, Batman is always Bruce Wayne. You could tell from some of the conversations between Bruce and John Blake that Bruce saw something in him. And he even went as far as to say something like, if you're going to be doing this alone, you better put on a mask. And Bruce and Blake's conversation in the police car, where one of them said something along the lines of, you know, the point was for people to believe that they too could be Batman. Something along those lines. And this was the first time in a Batman film that you felt that. That you felt, you know, that either the death of Bruce Wayne or the removal of Bruce Wayne would be very possible. Incredibly possible. Especially the scene where Blake thanks Batman, and Batman says, "Don't thank me yet." And Blake hits him with, "Well, this might be my last chance to say it." And there was that brief pause where it kind of sunk in that, holy shit, this really could be the end of Batman. That part literally gave me chills. When he said, "This might be my last chance to say it." And then that 2-second pause that it, you know, kind of kept on Batman's face. Oh my God, it sent chills on me. I was like, holy shit, is he actually going to die? There's no way. But I always felt the death could be possible. You know, Christopher Nolan is an incredible director and an incredible storyteller, and he can find a way to make anything work and seem believable and possible. But let's keep going with the ending. You know, the finale, Batman destroys the bomb into the ocean. Yeah, a little bit cliche, I guess. Some people have said that, and I guess that is a little bit cliche. And then the scene with Alfred crying at the graves, which was so powerful. I mean, Michael Caine is phenomenal. And Wayne Manor becomes a home for, you know, the underprivileged kids. But the real kicker, the thing that kicked me in the ass, was when Joseph Gordon-Levitt's character, Blake, receives the bag and the coordinates to the Batcave that Batman left for him. The realization of his first name being Robin. You know, obviously that was just a nod from Nolan to the fans. Some people might have thought it was corny. Oh, all of a sudden his first name's Robin. Where'd that come from? But, I mean, all it was just a nod. It was Christopher Nolan saying, there you go, bitches. You know, Robin was mentioned in some way, shape, or form. I love that he did that. it's hard to tell, honestly, a truly definitive Batman story over the course of like 10 years or so, I think it was, between Begins and Rises, without there being some mention of Robin, even if it's not meant in the same context. And I was actually thinking and kind of hoping that when they were talking about his real name, that he would at least have been called Richard or Dick or something. You know, obviously the obvious choice, but they went with Rob. I mean, I digress. That's not important. Let's discuss my final point. On the way home, obviously we were talking about the movie, and something hit me about the ending. I was like, wait a second. Is Bruce Wayne actually dead? Think about that if you've seen it. Think about it for a second. This might be a kind of out there theory, but knowing the films that Christopher Nolan likes to do, he likes to leave certain things open for the audience. He wants people to talk about it when the movie's over. So it really got me thinking, because in the middle of the movie, Bruce and Alfred had the conversation about how Alfred travels to Italy every year in the same place, and he always imagines seeing Bruce there with a wife and a family, and they'll nod, knowing each other is happy. And at the end of the film, that's exactly what happens. You know, the world thinks Batman is dead. In turn, the world thinks Bruce Wayne is dead. But is that actually what happens, or are we seeing what Alfred wants to see? Are we seeing what Alfred sees every year that he goes to Italy? Now, to that same token, Batman did tell Selina that he could offer her a clean slate when this was all over. I mean, so it could be that the ending is actually what it is. Bruce is alive. Him and Selina escaped to Italy or whatever. But it makes you think. It really makes you think, because let's go back to the very, very first movie, Batman Begins. One of the first things Ra's al Ghul says to Bruce Wayne: the world is too small for someone like Bruce Wayne to simply disappear. So, in theory, if he did just escape to Italy with Selina, it would seem like eventually someone would discover that Bruce Wayne's still alive. Again, this is just a theory. This is kind of just something that got me thinking, because part of me wants to believe that Nolan did that on purpose, because Batman is different things to different people. Some people might need to believe that Bruce is still alive, like me. Like, I want to think that he's still alive, but others might be okay with Bruce dying while saving Gotham City, and it'd be a fitting end to a heroic story. Another thing that sort of leads me to believe that there is a chance that Bruce Wayne did actually die. I mean, think about the powerful scene when Alfred's crying over the graves. I mean, he is a wreck. He's an absolute mess. And then he sees Bruce Wayne alive in Paris, supposedly, and he only gets slightly choked up and gives him a nod, and then life goes on. I mean, I don't know. A part of it seems a little bit too convenient. A little bit too convenient. You know, people might be thinking, "Oh, you're just taking it way farther than it needs to be." But I've seen every Christopher Nolan film, and if you've seen a lot of his films, you know that the endings are important. He wants you to talk about the end of his movies, and I think that this is a main point that I don't see a lot of people talking about yet. Some people have brought it up, some people I've talked to, but no one's really like saying, "Hold on a second, is Bruce really dead?" But I'm going to choose to believe that he's still alive, just because that's just me. And that whole scene just wrapped up an incredible finale, and then Blake comes diving into the Batcave, starts training down there, and then he starts to rise up at the end as it goes to black. Incredible ending. Incredible ending. All in all, Batman was successful. He lost a lot along the way, and by the way, this was, in my opinion, Christian Bale's best performance as Bruce Wayne to date. But he was able to inspire others to take a stand, and he'll be remembered as the hero that he should be. And I just think it was a flat-out masterpiece. I mean, I have to see it many, many times again to catch all the little things that I missed, but I absolutely loved it, and I put it right up there with The Dark Knight. Maybe not equally as good, but almost as good. And from a start-to-finish story, I think this story was just phenomenal. Anne Hathaway was fantastic as Catwoman. She did an excellent job. Bane, oh my God. I can't believe I haven't really talked about Bane yet. And I'm like, what, 18 minutes into this? Bane was such a badass. It was unreal. He was a lot bigger than I thought he was going to be, too. Some of the pictures of him, with the vests and in the trailer and stuff, you didn't really see him with his shirt off too much. But that scene where he's on the ground with his shirt off and then he stands up, he is massive. And people were like, oh, he's too small. He should be 6'9" and 500 pounds. Shut the hell up. Shut the hell up. That would look so stupid. He was the perfect size. And the two fight scenes with him and Batman, the first towards the beginning and the second one at the end, holy shit. In the first fight scene, he whooped Batman's ass. And I was flipping out. I was like, holy shit. That was one of the sickest scenes I've ever seen. Just him pounding the mask in and the mask breaking, and then revealing that they're right underneath Wayne Enterprises' room with all the weapons and all that stuff. Oh my God. And the tumbler drops down. Unbelievable scene. And he whooped Batman's ass, lifted that dude up, broke his back. Incredible. Incredibly shot, incredibly done. And then Bruce, of course, trained hard, fought back. Finally, regained his anger and his strength and came back and fought him a second time and started to get his ass whooped a little bit, but came back, whooped on that ass, and got the help of Selena Kyle to finish the job on Bane. Talia al Ghul, I think we all knew that Miranda Tate was going to be Talia. I think everybody knew that from the second she was cast as that part. Everyone said, oh, she's going to be Talia. So that wasn't that much of a surprise. I got to mention, too, Joseph Gordon-Levitt did a fantastic job as John Blake. That character was so important throughout the whole story, and I didn't think he was going to be that important. I didn't think he was going to be that important to Gordon, be that important to Batman, and then end up being that important to the finale. Joseph Gordon-Levitt did an awesome job. He's an awesome actor. The whole cast, all the new actors they brought in, everyone had such an important part and did such an incredible job. Overall, this movie is just fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. As a longtime Batman fan, huge Batman fan, I have to just say thank you to Christopher Nolan for giving such an incredible trilogy to the Batman fans. Finally, something on film of Batman as a whole that we can be really, really proud of, and just giving a whole new look and a whole new take on superhero movies. This trilogy was absolutely phenomenal, and if I could meet him in person, I would just say thank you so much for the brilliant movies you put together. These films are fantastic, and I cannot wait to see this last one many, many times again. So that should wrap up my long ass review. Long as hell. If you're still here, you must be a true Batman fan, so I appreciate that. Let me know what you thought about the film and the trilogy as a whole. Tell me in the comments. Talk to me on Twitter at IamTheDank. I'm sure I left out some stuff and might have missed some points, but once I go see it again and again, I'll be able to to give a fresher take. So if anyone wants to talk about it, hit me up, leave it in the comments, leave your feedback, and that's it for now. I'm the Dank, and I'll see you soon.